Let me intro to reference variable. Okay, so let's go back into valref and let's create another example. We'll say value reference params, and we'll follow that same syntax. We'll say, okay, int memory operator or reference and integer, rename it num. And let's write some code for this. And the code will be similar to the value params. We're just going to try to change the value to something else. Now we can go and create a test case for this. Test case, control space, enter, test reference parameter. So we'll say int num equal 5. And then we call reference params, and we use the variable num as the function argument. And then we say require that num equals 5 or 10. So 10. Okay, so let's go here and then let's do 10. And we go to the test case. So test case ex05 test, right click, run in terminal. Okay, up arrow, enter, dash s, enter. Space dash s. So notice down here at the bottom, it did change the value to 10. So let's diagram that code to make sure we understand why that is happening. Okay, so we'll go here and we're only interested in this piece. Function reference parameter. So assuming we have main and not a test case, so I'll say main. We have that. And I'll copy the contents of reference params, just so that you can see how that function looks like and you're not guessing if you're going back and watching the video. So we go back here. And that's what we have. So that's how that function looks like. And we go back to stack. So again, free store heap not available. Available but not in use, sorry, not in use. So we're not using it. It's available for our program. Stack. Main gets loaded. Load main. And we have num 5, right? So I'll put num here so that we know that's num. And then immediately reference params is loaded. So load keys got stuck. Okay. I want to use that little while. Let me see here. Load ref params. I want to use tick. Okay. And then we have this piece here, like int num, right? Let me do Control Z, Control Z. So what happens to that one? Well, this one also has to get some memory block, right? It's a reference, so we can assume that maybe it'll be here. The question is, what goes there? X 100, maybe x100. Why x100? Because that's where num lives. So we're like, oh, so then, so that the function knows what value to reference, and maybe x100 would go here, and then we draw this arrow so we can show that it's referencing that memory address. Okay. So now when we say num equals 10, what we're saying, hey, whatever value this param is referencing, go and change its value. And it's this one, so it changes the value from 5 to 10. So we are changing the value of the original function variable. Which function variable? This one. So if we go back and look at the test case, we have int num equals 5, reference underscore params. This is a local variable, local function variable. Where is its scope, or meaning where does it live? It lives in this scope. However, the reference param function has a reference parameter, meaning if we use this as an argument, it'll pass the address where num is stored. And that's the diagram I showed. So when we say num equals 10, we are actually changing this value from 5 to 10. Over here, the value was not changed. We were changing a copy. But here we are referencing the original variable location, which can be good, but then like, I mean, is that what we want, right? Like, and then the other question should be like, hey, wait a minute, like, should I always use value parameter, or should I always use reference parameter, or are there guidelines for using value parameter and then copy parameter? So those are the questions that come into play, and we'll address them in a little bit. For now, like, any questions on reference parameters and function reference parameters? Function, I mean, reference variables and function reference parameters. Sorry. You have to make sure you understand these two concepts, because we need them for the rest of the semester. We're going to use them. Okay, so no questions. So now let's address the questions, right? Like, when do we use them? And why, I mean, why do we have a reference parameter to begin with? Like, and do other languages use it? And the answer, well, yeah, like the other languages like Java, C#, and even Python uses it. Why didn't they bring it up to me? Because there was an introductory course. They just wanted you to understand the basic fundamentals of programming. So now it's like, when do we use what and how do we use them, right? So let me stop here.